Hello and welcome to Indian Story. There is nothing more beautiful and exciting than story. Everybody has a story. In fact, the story is a light. Now let's watch what this story has to say. My name is Rani Sohinder Nabha and I'm married to Raja Fateh Singh Ji of Nabha. I just want to keep going. I don't want to think 80. I think 80 is just a number. I think COVID time, frankly, people have hated it. I thought we loved it. Frankly, I didn't mind it one bit. It gave us a lot of introspection, a lot of bonding, and we spent a lot of time talking to the family. His grandfather was known as Maharaja Hira Singh. He was a great favorite of the British, and because he was favored by them, they gave him the title of Sir. He saw one day when he was going around Dehradun, he saw a restaurant or guest house, I don't know what, saying, Indians and dogs not allowed. He told his people, go and buy that. He bought that and wrote, Englishmen and dogs not allowed. Can you imagine the anger? I was born in Lahore in 1939, and I, along with my parents, we came after partition to Delhi, and since then I have been in Delhi. I studied at the Convent of Jesus and Mary School all through, and then later on went on to study in Miranda House, which is in Delhi University, and did my master's in English literature, and in 1964 Master's English Literature, but I was also fond of music, I was fond of sports, I was fond of reading and traveling. My childhood was very beautiful. I have memories with my grandmother, that is my mother's mother, in Lahore. And I still remember going to school there with her. She would come and pick me up. I was good because my sister was much younger, she never joined any school. And then with her, I remember in Lahore, there was a hill called Murray Hill. So she would take me there, pack up chutney sandwiches, and I would sit and eat with her. To this day, I'm fond of chutney sandwiches. So those memories are very, very precious. And we were really brought up by our grandmother, because our mother was in the government, so she was always posted, she was always busy and in her profession. And our grandmother really brought us up. Very, very close we were to her, both of us, both my sister and I. My father was Sardar Khazan Singh Chaudhary, a well-known figure in Delhi, was a commissioner in income tax, one of those 5 commissioners in the whole of India at the time, when there was only one commissioner for each place, like Madras, Bombay, Calcutta, and so. And my mother was a well-known gynecologist and surgeon in Punjab, and she was leading medical superintendent of a leading hospital in Punjab, in Simla, and was posted there. We used to go up every time during the summer holidays. My sister and I, we are only 2 children, both our sisters, she's younger to me. We used to go up when our schools would close for 2.5 months during the summer. We would go up to Simla to be with our mother. So I did study up till pre-medical in the Delhi University, but then I changed over to arts. And of course, that was a great disappointment for her, because she wanted that at least one of her daughters should follow also become in the medical profession. But and she felt I was keen, but later on somehow or the other it didn't work out. And I got admission in medical colleges here and outside, but I just didn't go. So she was a very compassionate lady. She was not just a doctor. She was so involved with her patients that they felt that the patient would be half cured by just talking to her. So there was a lot of compassion in the family. We learned that. We learned the importance of being compassionate, about taking care, concern about human being, trying to see the problem, not just superficially solve it. As a doctor, yes, she solved many professionally, but she would go and sit down with each patient and listen to their problems. And that itself, they felt that we feel confidence in Dr. Chaudhary. We would like to go there. She listens to us, she listens to our problems, and so that is frankly, that is what I grew up with. A great love for human beings and a greater love even for animals. My parents were very fond of animals, so right from childhood, we've been fond of looking after dogs and taking care of them. And I myself am a very strong dog lover. I bring up strays, I look after them and get them treated, and that's how actually what also Rotary stands for. So that's how, and my parents both being government servants, I would say, we learned the importance of working and how we were not brought up in great luxury. So we learned the importance of what it is to work for oneself. I remember when we came from Lahore during the partition, they had nothing with them. They just came with 2 cows, and that's how they started their life. So it was with grit, with that determination, they came up again. So that's what we learned, that there's no question of any failure. Have a positive attitude, work towards what you have to do, and hopefully God's blessings God will take care. We are 2 sisters. My name is Sohinder and my younger sister's name is Kanwal, K-A-N-W-L, Kanwal. She's a designer of great standing. She studied art in Germany and has been very sought after by American firms. She's a great designer and a great artist. She lives in Delhi now, and she's traveled around the world, and she worked with very leading American companies as a merchandiser manager. So as I just mentioned, we were very, very close to her. My grandmother's name was Sadani Kishan Kaur. I do want to mention one point. She was totally illiterate. She got married in the village when they want you to get married early, 16, 17, 18. And she lost her husband at the age of 18 in plague at that time. So she had my mother, that's it. And it's funny that I think that's where the strength comes to us, is from our grandmother. She said, this little thing, and she could not even write her name, she couldn't read anything. She said, I'll make her a doctor. The image, the vision, it is most amazing. And her brothers in that time, they said, we'll kill you. You girls are not supposed to be educated. You'll bring shame to us and all. She said, I don't care. I don't know where she got that courage from. She didn't have very much of this thing, but she enrolled her at the age of 3 in a school and put her into boarding, where they would wake the children up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock to pray to God, to sing shabads, and that's how they educated them. So actually this whole strength comes from her into the whole family, because it was her determination. And I'll say my mother too followed that. When she felt this is what my mother wanted, she didn't spare anything, and she made sure that she studied and became a very well-known doctor, just as her mother had dreamt, which I think was remarkable for an illiterate woman who couldn't even sign her name. To have that ambition and vision, it's very, very rare. And I think they will get the strength actually from her. We got married in 1964. Also, his mother and my mother were friends, and that's how we got introduced. My husband, Raja Fateh Singh of Nabha, had just come back from Germany, and so my mother said, his mother, Her Highness Maharani Gunjan Kaur, has a son. he's just come back from Germany, would you like to see him? Or, okay, we just met casually. I didn't react that favorably, but when I met him a couple of times later, I said he's a nice, honest, nice person. I think I like him. So that's how then. So when I got married, that's where I went. We had a small apartment that was given by the company because he just believed in work, and he said, what I am is not important. So I have to work, I have to satisfy myself. Then we were there for about 4 or 5 years. I wasn't doing very much. We moved to Delhi, and we continued to stay here. And then he worked in his own enterprise, a couple of other firms and all. His bent of mind was very scientific and as a discoverer and an inventor. So he really couldn't settle down to just normality of a job, go there, just work as a thing and come back. So then he ventured out on his own, that I want to do something different. So he has a lot of inventions to his credit and lots of patents and inventions. So the journey, so that's how we went. Then we had 2 children. Soon after we got married, a year and a half, the second one came along. So one got busy with the children, their schooling, I sent them to boarding and so forth, got very involved. And I wasn't working at that time. And then in between somewhere in the 70s, one thought of starting an export organization. At that time, export was pretty big and there was a demand for it in the outside countries. And my husband knew people, so that's how one began export. And I got into this business full-fledged. Was exporting garments to all over Europe, USA and UK. The elder one is Rajkumar Ranjit Singh of Nabha. The younger one is Rajkumar Rajit Singh of Nabha. There's a difference of 3 years between them. They both did their schooling in Delhi. My elder one, Ranjit, went to Doon School. We put him to Doon School. But my younger one studied all through at St. Columbus. And at the age of 19, the elder one went to USA to study there. And the younger one, once he completed his schooling at the age of 18, 19, he also went to the States. And he studied at the Berkeley University. They were very bright students. And they've done well in life. Our elder one still continues to remain in New York, but the younger one came back a few years ago. He decided to relocate back to India, which is good for us. At least we have one of them with us, especially in these times that we went through. It was a real blessing. The inspiration, as I said, there was a market for it. Not that I'd had any formal education in business management or anything, but just embarked upon this. And there were few people that we had contacts with in the stores, and they said, look, as I said, my sister worked as a merchandiser and a manager of the American companies, and they said, if you start on your own, we will buy from you. So that's how we started. And she, as I said, being a very creative person, we made beautiful garments, totally different, no, not run-of-the-mill, beautiful embroideries, beautiful this thing. So it just took off. And we got a lot of support from our buyers, but in a much smaller level. Because of not only because of the lockdown, but we just slowed down. My inspiration, I would say, actually also my husband, because he has supported me everything I want to do, anything I want to do. You know, that freedom of feeling that I was not going to be tabooed, I wasn't going to be criticized. I'm sure done a lot, maybe made many wrong moves and wrong, but he has never. Whatever I wanted to do, he says, okay, if that makes you happy, okay. And it's very important, because when you're married and if your husband doesn't support you, you really don't get very far, because you feel, you're always at the back of the mind, he's criticizing, maybe not liking, appreciating. He's appreciated everything I do, whether wrong or right. He's a wonderful man. It doesn't bother me. Don't get so upset. Neither do I cry over it. Yes, there's sorrow and all, but I said, okay, let's get up and face them. My father taught me that. He says, after we've all had worries, he says to me, a worry, problem, I like a coat. At night, I take off that coat and hang it. I just put it on the and then have a good night's sleep. He said, tomorrow morning I'll put it on, then we'll see. So he says, treat life like that. Problems with it, don't worry, just take it off like taking off your, and then put it on again and face life again and fresh your mind. Actually got a lot of inspiration from. But they were hardworking. They never knew, they never had wealth coming down the line. So, you know, that gave them a lot of... I sing mostly religious music, and I have a Guruji who comes and teaches me, and I have some, sometimes even a performance at, I had recently, when my mother passed away, in her memory, I had a function at the India Habitat Center where I sang some shabads. Mitra pyare Mitra pyare Hal muridan kehna Hal This is a Guru Gobind Singh Ji's Shabad. He went into battle, he lost the battle, and then, because they had to rest, so he came back to the woods, and he said, Mitra is his God. Mitra pyarenu, please convey to him the condition I am in. It's a Shabad, very beautiful Shabad, very well received in all languages, by all people. Very spiritual. I don't sit in the Gurdwara all the time, but in my mind is God's name all the time, all the time. I pray to God for every little thing I feel. I have Him beside me, and so I carry on fearlessly. Okay. Wow, it's. I thought I would relax after I was 80 plus. No way. I get up early, about 6:30. I go for a walk. I say my prayers. Go for a walk. I walk 40 minutes. Come back and have a little tea or coffee. Then my yoga teacher comes. I do that. Then I change and have bath, get ready. By 10:30, 11, I like to be in the office. My office is here only. So I do a lot of routine work, whatever is required. There's construction work going on. There's properties one needs to look after. There are banking work that has to be done. I don't know how my day, starts and how it ends. And then I have Rotary work. I have other organizations I'm involved with. As long as I have health, I have energy, and I can do whatever I can do, I just want to do that. I even forget that I'm Indian. Just keep on working. I don't think about it. Really, I don't. I say I have to do this, I forget. Everyone says slow down. What is there to slow down? I'll automatically slow down when I have to slow down. But as long as I have the energy so I just keep going. I joined, first and foremost, my husband was a member of the Rotary Club in Faridabad. He joined there, so we were there. When we came to Delhi, we left that club and then didn't rejoin any Rotary Club. Then a friend met us. He said, why don't you come on back again to the Rotary? So we went ahead. We joined in 2003-04 or something. There was a little gap of. So then I remember he was a member and I was just his spouse member. But later on he said, and they asked, the Rotary Club told him that we'd like her to be the president of our club. I said, I know nothing about being a president. I don't know inkling about. They said, how can you? They said, no, we want you. We know that you will achieve it. So then they asked my husband. My husband said, yes, if she would like to, certainly. So that's how then I joined in my own right, the Rotary Club, and I became member of that club and was president for 2 years. The Rotary Club of Delhi, South Cosmopolitan, and almost brought it up from scratch. Working, I'm basically a doer. I believe, yes, one has visions, one has this and this, but I execute and I'm a doer in a heart. I dream less, but well, in Rotary there's so many projects, and one mentioned we bring up orphan children, we look after schools, we see that their buildings, there was a building where the whole hall was dilapidated, so we tried to get some funds and get the governor involved and say this building needs to be repainted, the big hall, where are the children going to carry on these functions, and then build toilets for them, but they're appalling condition, and especially the MCD and the slum schools, we've done a fair amount for that to uplift them and give them a little better hope in life. I take life as it comes, frankly. Frankly, I don't worry about it so much. Of course, one is saying, but as it comes, it has its low moments, high moments. But as it comes, one tries to deal with it. Well, I'm very passionate about the Rotary and be able to do a lot for the economical weak section. It's actually, once you're in Rotary, you realize how much is required, how much that what you do is still like a drop in the ocean. So that is truly my passion, to be involved with work, Rotary work in every aspect, whatever I can do, by way of money, by way of pulling in people, by way of getting more members interested in projects. It's very satisfying. It's very, very satisfying. Thank God you've been able to contribute whatever you can towards humanity, towards the betterment of even though it's maybe very small, but whatever you can. When you see those faces, we go to these orphan schools and we give them something, they stand in a line so sweetly dressed up, and they are so humble, they are so happy that they've got something, that somebody's to take care of them and shown interest in their life and all. It is such a moment of satisfaction. That's, I think, maybe I got from my mother, being a doctor, and all the what she used to see, so God's hand when I'm able to save a patient. And the message is that if you come to this world, please do not just think of yourself. You must give of yourself to you've got so much from life. Give some of it back to the society. Otherwise, back to humanity, back to the people. Don't think that it's only I. Remove that from think of the other person in need. That is my major focus. I love to do anything for anybody who needs it. That comes first. I don't think that just because one is luckily or whatever it is in a privileged position, so one doesn't have to. No. That is, I say, thank God I'm in that position. Therefore, I'm able to do something for somebody. Thank God for that. At least whatever one can do in a little way. I love I like all films. I like historical films, normal films, and favorite film. So many of them. I loved Kora Kagas. A very beautiful picture. Very tender, very emotional. I will love Lata. I don't want to say that. Of course, she's a world figure. It isn't that. All good. There, of course, K.L. Sehgal, and there was that film Waqt, at 1965 came into anything. From that film. Aage bhi jaane na tu, पीछे भी जाने ना तू, जो भी है बस यही एक पल है, जो भी है बस यही एक पल है, आगे भी जाने न तू, पीछे भी जाने न तू, जो भी है बस यही एक पल है. And that's I believe, okay, this is today. I don't look forward back. My message to my children is, be good human beings and do what you can for the good in this world. Thank God for what you have. See what you can do further to make others also happy. Show kindness, show compassion. Be caring. Really, more than anything else. I think COVID time, frankly, people have hated it. I thought we loved it. Frankly, I didn't mind it one bit. It gave us a lot of introspection, a lot of bonding, and we spent a lot of time talking to the family and doing many things, thinking about many things, which we used to just take for granted. It was really a period of introspection, I would think. And I think it was great. I didn't mind it one bit. Lockdown, wonderful. Couldn't go out, nobody came over. But we had a lot of, one could relate to the world anyhow through various other means. But to say that everybody would grumble about it, nothing to grumble. Look within yourself. There's so many other things you can do. So give you time for reading, for writing, for doing something which you... I think it's a wonderful organization which is able to take this for anyone to be able to view and to understand and to feel what has been in the life of another person and what we can achieve. And I think it's, I would say, it is due to India viewers that they have made this possible. This has helped. I think that's it.
Yes, we are all unique. We come and go. But these stories are legacy forever. Do share your story with Indian Story anytime, anywhere. And don't forget to subscribe our channel